So welcome, Eileen.
Oh, thanks, Arthur. Thanks for being willing to interview me. I can't imagine that this could be an interesting interview.
Oh, I don't know. I think it would be an interesting interview because you're doing an interesting concert.
I
Tell
heard
us
you
about
say
it
that.
and tell us where it is first.
Okay, this is at St. Peter's Church on February 16th. That's a Saturday, 8 p.m. St. Peter's is located on 54th, right on the corner of Lex,
Right.
between Lex and 3rd.
Southeast corner.
Southeast corner.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a great venue. Actually, I love singing at St. Peter's Church because I think it's a good hall for diction. I think it's a good hall for American music.
And your pianist is Tom Schmidt, yes?
Who's fabulous. I love Tom because he's literally infinite in the amount of notes he can play at one time. But beyond that, I feel Tom has a really special gift for being able to look at one of Gregg Smith's most difficult to read scores, which some of them can be, depending how quickly Gregg had to write them down. Tom can look and figure out exactly what the real chord is, or even if it's sort of unfinished, like one of the pages of Double Sonata is. Tom plays something and Gregg says, I do think that's what I had in mind.
Yes, and you are doing a program of all Gregg Smith's solo songs.
Right, right.
And some of them with instruments,
Yeah.
right? With instruments besides the piano.
Yeah, this is a program of music for solo voice and instruments, which first came into my life because I went up to visit Gregg and Roz in Yonkers around the time of Gregg's 80th birthday. I wanted to send Gregg up by planning a concert of his works. And Gregg and Roz spent about a couple hours with me, and I ended up taking a stack of music this high home on the subway and laid it all out in my apartment and read through it. And most of the works were actually for a solo voice and one or more other instruments.
And on this program, what other instruments are included, and who are the instrumentalists?
Okay, on this program we've got a violinist, Ari Streisfeld, from the Jack Quartet. You probably know Jack Quartet. If you haven't heard Jack Quartet, you absolutely must go to the next concert they're having in your area because they're amazing, just fabulous, and I think spending an evening listening to their music, you'll come home feeling wiser, I think, and really filled.
And who's the other instrumentalist?
The other instrumentalist is Evan Ziporin on clarinet. Evan is a really interesting guy. Just earlier today I emailed him because I wanted to get one sentence on who he is. Evan has a lot of interesting different pieces to his life. He's a composer. He's a clarinet player. He was one of the founders of the Bang on a Can All-Stars, and his 25 years in Bang on a Can, I think, really informed who he is now, as did 30 years of learning about Balinese gamelan and his studies with music masters from India, China, the Far East, the Near East.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, he's an amazing.
Now, who are the poets?
Oh, okay. The poets in the house will be Kim Rich. I hope she can be there. Who's over the years written many poems that Gregg has set to music, and she's given us some wonderful evenings of poetry readings up in Saranac Lake over the years. I like Kim's poetry because it says what we individuals are thinking. She has a way of really bringing our thoughts and feelings out into words, and into words that we might use. It's a lovely vernacular.
Yes, she does. And who are the other poets on the program?
Wallace Stevens, Robert Herrick, and John Milton. So it's really a full evening.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah,
Sounds wonderful.
for people that are interested in literature. We're also having a talk back. I want to spend lots of the evening in discussion with Gregg and any other composers that are in the house.
Just
and
make
with
sure you give
performers.
Gregg a microphone.
I will. In fact, we've got a plan for 2 microphones,
Oh, good.
just in case one fails. Years ago, I remember being on the tour bus, and we're all like asleep, right? Because it's these long touring days, and the bus is like driving through some forest on the way to Corvallis, Oregon, maybe. And Gregg is always seated in the same place on the bus. He's on the left side, second row, and the image in my mind is over his lap is this huge piece of plywood. And he's got empty manuscript stretched out in front of him that he's going to write music. And several different years I toured with him and this plywood there on the bus. And I don't think once I asked him, what are you writing? How are you possibly writing it? You know, there's no piano on the bus. I see you've got a pencil, so there's room for error. You can erase, I guess, if you need to. But I was always really amazed by it. So I really want to grill him a little bit about how he composes. Maybe we can get Evan involved in that same discussion and any other composers that happen to be in the house that night.
Great. Sounds like a fascinating evening.
Thanks.
February 16th, Saturday evening at St. Peter's Church on 54th and Lexington. Now, the start time is 8 o'clock, is it?
Yep.
You're going to do the talk back earlier, or?
During.
It's during the concert.
During.
So
we can really just like mix it up and all be in the room together, be informal together.
and is there a
for
cost
music.
for admission?
I believe the cost is $25 a ticket. If you buy a package with the Gregg Smith Singers, a ticket package for the year, there is a discount.
Yes, we have a concert coming up
yeah.
on March 2nd.
Right. And you can go to greggsmithsingers.com to buy your ticket for any of these concerts.
Great.
So,
And I believe there'll be a link to this video on the Gregg Smith Singers website.
good.
And we'll make sure that happens. So
Well,
thank you, Eileen.
Thank you.